I booked the Airbnb for a quiet weekend getaway, a little cottage tucked away in the countryside, perfect for some much-needed peace. The reviews were great, mentioning how cozy and secluded it was. Just what I needed. I'm a writer, and I had a deadline looming over me like a storm cloud. My apartment in the city was too loud, too distracting. I needed somewhere isolated, somewhere I could really focus. A weekend in a peaceful cottage, just me, my laptop, and endless cups of coffee. It sounded perfect. And the first night, it was. I cooked a simple dinner, poured a glass of wine, and sat at the little wooden desk near the window, staring out at the dark trees while I typed away. The silence was refreshing. No traffic, no sirens, just the distant hum of crickets and the occasional rustle of wind through the trees. By midnight, my eyes were heavy, so I locked the doors, turned off all the lights, and crawled into bed. I fell asleep almost instantly. And then, on the second night, I woke up to something strange, a distant creaking. At first, I thought it was part of a dream, but then another creak. A slow, rhythmic sound. Footsteps. I blinked, body stiff with that primal kind of fear you don't question. The room was pitch dark, but I didn't dare move. The sound was coming from inside the house. Someone was walking down the hallway. Step, step, step. It wasn't fast, not rushed. It was slow, purposeful, like someone who wasn't afraid of being heard. I held my breath. My mind raced. Maybe it was just the house settling, wood shifting, old pipes. Maybe I was just overthinking it. I reached for my phone, hands shaking, and turned on the flashlight. Silence. I forced myself to get up and check. When I opened the door, nothing. The hallway was empty. I checked the front door, still locked. The windows, closed. I convinced myself I was being dramatic. Maybe my brain was just fried from writing, and went back to bed. But at 3 a.m., I woke up again. This time, it wasn't footsteps. It was breathing, not my own. Too close. I froze. I couldn't tell if it was coming from inside the room or just outside the door. For the first time, I noticed how dark the room felt. Not just normal, middle of the night dark, darker. Then, creak. My bedroom door was opening. I knew I locked it. I felt paralyzed, like my body was refusing to move, as if somehow staying still would keep me safe. I listened, waiting, dreading. I forced myself to grab my phone, turned on the flashlight, and pointed it at the door. Nothing. The door was open about 6 inches, but the hallway was empty. I got up, slammed it shut, locked it again, and this time, I grabbed my suitcase and pushed it in front of the door. But I had to know. I opened the security camera app for the front porch. It should have been recording all night. No footage available. I clicked refresh. Nothing. The camera had been turned off. A chill crawled up my spine. Someone had been there. Someone had turned it off. I wanted to pack my bags, but I felt trapped. If someone was inside, where were they now? Were they watching me? Waiting? I barely slept the rest of the night. As soon as the sun came up, I threw everything in my bag, grabbed my keys, and left without looking back. Later that day, I left a review mentioning the noises and the camera shutting off. But when I went back to check, it was gone. The host had deleted it. That was a year ago. Sometimes, I still check the listing. It's still there. Still has glowing reviews. But every now and then, a review pops up mentioning something strange. a noise, a shadow, a locked door found open, and then it disappears. I should have trusted my gut the moment I walked in. The Airbnb looked nice enough, cozy, clean, tucked away in the countryside, the kind of place where you could unplug and relax, which is exactly what I needed. Work had been killing me, and I just wanted one weekend of silence, away from deadlines, emails, and the constant noise of the city. I'd skimmed the reviews before booking. Almost all were positive, except for one strange one that had been deleted before I could read the full thing. The only part I saw was, "Something feels off," but I ignored it. I shouldn't have. Everything was fine at first. I made tea, curled up with a book, and tried to enjoy the quiet. But from the moment I set my bags down, I kept noticing little things. Like the fact that the main bedroom had 2 closets, one normal-sized one near the dresser, and another, a small, almost child-sized door, built low into the wall near the corner of the room. I remember standing there, staring at it, thinking, that's weird. Something about it felt wrong. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I figured it was a storage space the owner didn't want guests messing with, but something about it kept pulling my attention. It wasn't until later that night that I started to feel genuinely uneasy. Around midnight, as I was brushing my teeth, I heard it. A soft scratching sound. I froze, toothbrush still in my mouth. It wasn't coming from the window, not the front door. It was coming from inside the bedroom. I shut off the faucet and stood there, straining my ears. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It was light, almost hesitant, like someone trailing their nails against wood. And it was coming from inside that little closet. I felt a cold chill creep up my spine. Nope. No way. It's just an old house, I told myself. Wood creaks. Animals scratch. My rational brain was desperate for an explanation, so I forced myself to ignore it and go to bed. I fell asleep with the lamp on. I don't know why. I just couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. At some point in the night, I woke up. It was pitch dark. The lamp was off. I reached for my phone. 3 a.m. I turned over and saw something that made my stomach drop. The little closet door was open, just slightly, maybe 2 inches. I sat up so fast I nearly fell out of bed. My breathing was shaky, uneven. I told myself the door wasn't actually locked. Maybe it had come loose. Maybe air pressure had pushed it open. But then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The tiny lock was broken. Someone had forced it open. I felt completely paralyzed. My heart was hammering in my chest, every nerve in my body screaming at me to run. But I couldn't move. Then, in the silence, I heard it. A whisper. It wasn't clear. It was faint, low, like someone murmuring just below the range of understanding. But it was coming from inside the closet. I lost it. I grabbed my phone, my bag, my shoes. I didn't care about the rest of my stuff. I ran out of that house so fast I nearly tripped down the porch steps. I got in my car, locked the doors, and drove. I didn't stop until I was halfway back home. The next morning, I messaged the host, asking if there was a cleaning crew or anyone else who had access to the house. They never answered. By the time I went back to check the listing, it was gone. Not just my reservation. The entire Airbnb had been taken down. But here's the thing. A few weeks later, I saw a new listing. Same location, same photos, different name. And when I scrolled through the reviews, I saw it. One guest mentioned waking up to find a door open, and then that review disappeared too. I had been traveling for work for months, hopping from hotel to hotel, so when I found a cute little Airbnb in the countryside, it seemed like a nice break. It had that cozy, lived-in feel, not sterile like a hotel. And honestly, it was cheap. Too cheap. I remember scrolling through the reviews before booking, all glowing, almost too perfect. Except one. It had been deleted, but I caught a glimpse of it before it vanished. The only part I saw was, "If you hear something at night, leave." I should have listened. The first night, something felt off. When I arrived, everything seemed normal. Clean sheets, a well-stocked kitchen, a little welcome note from the host. But something about the place felt wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I had that prickling feeling on the back of my neck like someone was watching me. I tried to shake it off. I was just tired from the drive. That night I settled into bed with my laptop. I was in the middle of a true crime documentary, because clearly I make fantastic life choices, when I noticed something strange. The smoke detector above the bed was blinking. Now, I know some smoke detectors have lights, but this was different. It wasn't the usual red or green. It was a tiny, faint blue light. I sat up, staring at it. Something about it made my stomach twist. So I did what any paranoid woman alone in a strange house would do. I Googled it, and that's when my blood ran cold. Hidden cameras often use small blue LED lights when they're recording in the dark. My hand started shaking as I climbed onto the bed and reached for the detector. It was loosely attached, like it had been put back in a hurry. I pulled it down. There was a camera inside. The second night. I didn't sleep. I spent the whole night searching. I tore through every room, every vent, every outlet. I found 2 more cameras, one in the bathroom vent, one inside an electrical outlet facing the bed. I felt physically sick. I packed my stuff so fast my hands were shaking. I was about to leave when I hesitated. Who knew how long these had been here? How many other women had been filmed without knowing it? I grabbed my phone and started scrolling through old reviews, trying to find any sign that someone else had noticed something. And then I saw it. The names were different, but I recognized the stories. Someone hearing footsteps at night. Someone waking up to find a door open. Someone saying the listing kept changing names. And then, one review from months ago. I heard whispers coming from the closet. I felt my entire body turn cold, because I had seen that closet, the one in the bedroom, the one that was slightly smaller than normal. I had knocked on it earlier just out of curiosity, and I swore it sounded hollow. A terrible thought hit me. What if there wasn't just a camera? What if there was a space behind that closet? What if someone had been in there the whole time? I ran. I didn't stop. I drove 2 hours straight before I even let myself cry. When I finally calmed down, I started reaching out. First, I messaged Sarah, whose name I found in an old review before it was deleted. She was hard to track down, but when she picked up the phone and I explained who I was, she went completely silent. Then she said, "I thought I imagined it." The breathing, the camera shutting off. Then I found Rachel. When I told her about the cameras, she barely let me finish before she whispered, "I knew something was in that closet." The 3 of us compared everything. The cameras, the noises, the listing being taken down and re-uploaded under different names. And then we found him. A news article. The Airbnb host, arrested 3 years ago for stalking women in his rental properties. He had served less than a year and was released on parole. And now, he had been watching us. We reported everything to the police, but we knew how this would go. There was no way to prove who had placed the cameras, no way to prove what had happened inside that house. The Airbnb listing was removed for good after our report. But if you check the area, there's another listing. Same location, different name, and we still don't know how many women stayed there before us, or how many never realized they were being watched. Or worse, how many never left.